Welcome to Vedira, where timeless wisdom meets the seeker's heart. Here we bring the voice of great thinkers, sacred texts, and profound ideas into the present moment, guiding us toward clarity, strength, and inner freedom. This is more than a podcast. It is a journey of reflection, learning, and transformation.
Today we're embarking on an exploration of a really foundational text, the Bhagavad Gita. For centuries, this work from, post-Vedic India, it's been pored over, translated. Yeah. People across traditions have really sought its wisdom.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable.
It really is. It's striking for its many layers of meaning and just the sheer breadth of teachings it packs in.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how the Gita works on, multiple levels. On one hand, you've got this dramatic battlefield scene.
Right.
But it's also this incredibly powerful allegory. So imagine Arjuna, the warrior, facing this huge dilemma. He represents your own inner self, grappling with life's big challenges.
Okay, yeah.
And Krishna, who's guiding him, he can be seen as the supreme soul, that sort of inner wisdom we all have access to.
That voice inside.
Exactly. The chariot becomes the body, and the blind king, Dhritarashtra, he kind of embodies the mind when it's clouded by ignorance, or what the Gita calls Maya.
Maya, right, like illusion.
Sort of, yeah. A kind of illusion that obscures our true understanding. And his 100 sons. They stand for all those negative tendencies that, pull us off course.
So the battle.
The battle itself is really that constant internal struggle between our higher impulses and our lower ones, good and evil within us.
Wow.
And the core message in that allegory is pretty powerful. If you listen to that inner guidance, that Lord within, you can actually navigate these struggles and ultimately reach your highest good.
Okay, so for our deep dive today, what we want to do is really pull out the key insights from the Gita that can offer you, our listener, some immediate value, almost like a shortcut to some pretty profound self-understanding. We'll look at how the Gita shines a light on our inner world, the different paths it lays out for spiritual growth, and, importantly, how to handle the obstacles you inevitably hit.
Yeah, good plan. And the Gita starts this off by giving us a really compelling model for understanding who we are deep down. It lays out a kind of inner architecture, you could say.
Okay, break that down for us.
Well, it starts with the physical, our limbs, the body. Then it moves to our senses. Hearing, touch, sight, taste, smell, the gateways to the world.
Got it.
Following those is the mind, which is constantly taking in information, dealing with emotions, storing things.
Right, the busy mind.
Then above the mind, there's the intellect, our ability to reason, discriminate, make decisions.
Okay.
But right at the very core, the Gita points to the soul, the actual essence of our being, the source of consciousness, of life itself, what it calls the real self.
And here's where it gets really interesting, right? The Gita suggests this individual consciousness isn't just isolated.
Exactly. It suggests that this spark within us, the soul, is actually a reflection of something much, much bigger, an all-encompassing reality, something eternal, indestructible.
How do we even grasp that?
Well, think about those moments, maybe you've seen them or felt them, of just extraordinary courage or a sudden burst of pure creativity or an act of real selfless compassion. The Gita implies these aren't just random, they're like glimpses through a veil, moments where we actually connect with that deeper universal consciousness.
That changes how you see things.
It fundamentally alters our view of life and death. The physical body, as the Gita points out, it's temporary. It changes, it ages, eventually it stops working. That's just its nature.
Right, and permanent.
But the soul, that eternal essence inside the body, it's never born and it never dies. The Gita puts it beautifully. The soul doesn't slay, nor is it slain.
So it just continues.
It uses this powerful analogy. Just like you discard worn-out clothes and put on new ones,
Okay.
the soul sheds old, worn-out bodies and takes on new ones. So from that perspective, change, even death of the physical form, isn't an absolute end to be mourned. It's more like a natural transition for this eternal soul.
It's a very different way to look at mortality.
Yeah.
So, okay, we have this idea of our true, enduring self. What then? How do we connect with that?
Well, that's the next key point. The Gita understands that there isn't just one single prescribed way to connect with this deeper reality.
Because people are different.
Exactly. It really recognizes the diversity of human nature. We all have different temperaments, different tendencies, different ways we engage with the world. Some people are naturally active, doers. Others are more reflective thinkers.
Right. And some are more driven by emotion.
Precisely. Some are led by their hearts, their feelings. And others, they really seek that direct, hands-on, experiential understanding. So to cater to all these different types, the Gita outlines several distinct paths or yogas that all lead towards spiritual realization.
Okay, let's get into these paths, the yogas. What's the first one?
The first is karma yoga, which is often translated as the way of work or action. Now, this isn't just about doing any work, it's about how you do it.
How so?
It's about performing your actions with a deep awareness of the interconnectedness of everything, dedicating your efforts to a higher purpose, or just doing your duty rather than being driven purely by selfish gain or wanting specific results.
Oh, okay. So it's the mindset behind the action.
Exactly. The Gita suggests that by consciously offering up our work in this spirit, it actually transforms into a kind of worship. It purifies the mind, calms it down.
Because you're not stressed about the outcome.
Right. Selfish motives, the Gita says, tend to agitate the mind, but selfless work, done as service or duty, cultivates inner peace and even joy. Think about it. Even the most ordinary tasks can become a path for spiritual growth if you approach them with that intention.
That really does reframe daily life.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next path?
The second main one is jnana yoga, the way of knowledge. This path is more suited for those who are naturally reflective, inclined towards intellectual inquiry and understanding.
Thinkers.
The thinkers, yes. But the Gita makes a crucial distinction here. It talks about secular knowledge, knowing facts about the material world, which is always changing, and ultimately can't provide lasting happiness. And then there's true liberating knowledge, the kind that takes you beyond the material realm. Jnana yoga is about disciplining that restless mind and cultivating a deep, almost intuitive understanding of our fundamental identity with the Supreme Spirit.
So it's not just knowing about it, but really realizing it.
Precisely. It's an experiential realization, not just intellectual head nodding.
Got it. So moving from the head to the heart. Bhakti yoga, the path of devotion, is that next?
That's right. Bhakti yoga, the way of devotion, is really for those who are naturally drawn to love, emotion, connection, the affective types.
People driven by their feelings.
Yes. This path focuses on cultivating an intense, unwavering love and devotion towards the universal spirit, or perhaps a chosen ideal or form of the divine. Through that deep devotion, the Gita says, you can directly experience the supreme reality and dissolve your doubts.
How does that look in practice?
Well, bhakti yoga often involves things like constant praise or remembrance, firm commitment to spiritual practices like chanting or prayer, and really honoring the divine with heartfelt love and surrender. It's a very heart-centered approach.
Tapping into that deep emotional wellspring.
Okay.
The last of these main four, Raja Yoga. That's often linked with meditation, right?
Yes, Raja Yoga, the way of meditation, or sometimes called the royal yoga. This appeals more to the experimental types, those who seek direct personal experience through inner discipline and practice.
What's the focus here?
The Gita identifies our cravings, especially for worldly pleasures, as a major hurdle on this path. Meditation becomes the primary tool. It's used to consciously shift the mind's focus away from external distractions and turn it inward, towards our own inner consciousness.
And the goal?
The goal is to experience a kind of spiritual bliss and inner joy that, the Gita suggests, is far, far superior to any fleeting pleasure the outside world can offer. Raja Yoga involves systematically training the senses, the mind, and the intellect, focusing them intently on the supreme reality within.
Okay, so we have these four distinct roads: work, knowledge, devotion, meditation. But they're all heading towards the same place, essentially.
That's the idea.
But like any journey, there are going to be bumps in the road, challenges. What obstacles does the Gita specifically warn us about on this spiritual path?
Well, a really primary challenge, according to the Gita, is the uncontrolled mind itself. It's just naturally restless, erratic, hard to tame. We all know that feeling.
Definitely. Monkey mind.
Exactly. But the Gita also offers the key, the solution. By consistently remembering our connection to the Supreme Spirit, that inner self we talked about, we gain the strength and the clarity needed to navigate the mind's constant fluctuations. It's like having a steady anchor in a storm.
Okay, so awareness is key.
Yeah.
What about desires? Those things we constantly seem to want. How does the Gita frame those?
It makes a really useful distinction. There are basic desires, the ones needed for survival, food, shelter, etc. Those are natural and necessary. But then there are what it calls superfluous desires or cravings, those excessive wants, the things we think we need but don't. These are seen as major roadblocks.
Why are they so problematic?
Because they often lead to frustration when they aren't met. And that frustration easily boils over into anger. Greed tends to fuel these cravings, and all of this strengthens the ego, which then fosters things like self-conceit, possessiveness, jealousy.
A whole chain reaction.
Exactly, a chain reaction that really hinders our ability to find inner peace and contentment. Just recognizing that pattern is a huge step.
So, becoming aware of how these cravings work inside us. How do the different yogas we talked about help us deal with these obstacles, the restless mind, the cravings?
Well, those following the paths of knowledge, jnana yoga or selfless work, karma yoga, tend to develop a heightened awareness of how these very cravings cloud their judgment and pull them away from their spiritual goals. They see the mechanism more clearly. And meditation, which is central to Raja Yoga, directly tackles the mind's habit of wandering outwards towards these desires. By repeatedly, patiently bringing the attention back inward, the magnetic pull of those external attractions gradually starts to weaken.
Right, you're retraining the mind's focus.
You are.
There's one more hurdle that often seems to trip people up, myself included sometimes. Doubt. What's the Gita's take on doubt?
Doubt is presented as a really serious impediment. It leads to stagnation, loss, both in worldly affairs and spiritual progress. The Gita is quite stark. It says that a person filled with doubt finds neither happiness in this life nor makes progress towards the next.
That sounds pretty final. Is there an antidote?
Yes, thankfully. It also provides a powerful remedy, the sword of knowledge. By seeking genuine understanding, wisdom, and maybe even direct experience through practice, we can effectively cut through those doubts that linger in our hearts and minds.
So knowledge dispels doubt. It sounds like while these paths work, knowledge, devotion, meditation are presented individually, they might not be totally separate in practice. Maybe they blend together.
Oh, absolutely. The Gita shows beautifully how they converge and support each other. For instance, when you truly start to perceive the entire universe as being pervaded by that one single universal spirit.
Which is part of jnana yoga, understanding.
Right. That perception naturally evokes a sense of wonder, contemplation, even love. And that love, in turn, can deepen into profound devotion bhakti yoga and create an intense longing for a more direct experience, a deeper knowledge of that supreme reality.
So it becomes a cycle.
It's like a positive feedback loop. Understanding fuels devotion, and devotion opens the door to deeper understanding. You know, it's often said you can't truly know something you don't love on some level.
And maybe you can't truly love something you don't understand, at least a bit.
Exactly. They really nourish each other.
This brings us nicely to some of the really foundational concepts running through the Gita. Let's touch on karma. It's a word everyone knows, but maybe not always in the way the Gita uses it.
Right. In the Gita, karma isn't just action or fate. It's deeply connected to your intention and the spirit in which you perform an action.
We talked about this with karma yoga.
Yes. Actions done without attachment to the results, done purely as your duty or as an offering, they don't create those negative karmic bombs that tie you to the cycle of rebirth, the material world.
Okay.
In fact, the Gita makes a strong point. It's better to do your own duty, even if imperfectly, than to try and do someone else's duty perfectly, especially if it's not aligned with your inherent nature, your dharma.
Interesting. Perform your own role, basically.
Yes. And another interesting point, the Gita clarifies that the Supreme Being doesn't actually dictate our specific actions or create the link between action and result. It's more that the inherent laws of nature, prakriti, govern cause and effect.
And tied very closely to this idea of karma is detachment.
Right. Yes. Detachment, or viraja, is absolutely central to the Gita's teachings for spiritual progress. It means acting, doing your part, but without being mentally fixated on the fruits of your actions.
So not being obsessed with success or failure.
Exactly. The focus shifts to the action itself, to fulfilling your responsibilities wholeheartedly, but without being driven solely by the desire for specific rewards or paralyzed by the fear of failure. This mental detachment purifies the mind and helps liberate you from those binding karmic reactions.
That sounds challenging but freeing. The Gita also talks about the three guna sattva, rajas, and tamas. Can you unpack those for us? What are they and why do they matter?
Sure. The three gunas are described as the fundamental qualities or modes of material nature. They influence everything, all beings, all actions, our thoughts, our emotions.
Okay, what are they?
So sattva represents qualities like goodness, purity, light, harmony, knowledge. Rajas is about passion, activity, energy, ambition, desire, restlessness. And tamas relates to ignorance, inertia, darkness, delusion, laziness.
And we all have these.
Yes, the Gita says they are constantly interacting and influencing us, though usually one is dominant at any given time. Understanding which guna is most active in you, in your thoughts or actions at a particular moment, provides incredibly valuable self-awareness.
How does that help?
By recognizing these influences like, oh, I'm feeling really sluggish and unmotivated, that's tamas, or I'm super restless and driven, that's rajas, we can consciously make efforts to cultivate more sattva qualities. Sattva is associated with clarity, wisdom, peace, qualities that are conducive to spiritual growth.
So it's about recognizing the forces at play within us. Finally, the Gita speaks a lot about the nature of the divine, the Lord, Krishna in this context. What are the key ideas there?
Well, the Gita presents the Supreme Being in multiple ways, as both unmanifest, totally beyond form, beyond our senses and comprehension.
The absolute.
Yes, and also as manifest, present in countless forms throughout the entire universe. In that unmanifest state, it pervades everything, yet it's not limited by anything it pervades. All beings exist within it, but it remains transcendent, unaffected.
Okay. And the manifest.
The divine also manifests in all the diverse aspects of creation, in the sun, the moon, in great souls, in the core of our own being. True devotion, according to the Gita, involves learning to recognize this divine presence everywhere, in all beings.
Seeing the divine in everyone.
Yes. And it makes a really powerful point about faith and resolve. It says that even someone who might seem to be acting badly, if they turn to the divine with sincere, undivided devotion, they should actually be considered righteous because their intention, their resolve, is right.
That's quite radical.
It is. And Krishna gives this amazing assurance, a promise, really, that a true devotee will never perish, never be lost. It really highlights the transformative power of faith and unwavering commitment.
Wow. This has been, well, a truly illuminating deep dive into the Bhagavad Gita. Just to quickly recap, we've explored the Gita's perspective on our true self, the soul. We looked at the four main paths to connect with that: karma, jnana, bhakti, and raja yoga. We talked about the obstacles we face, that restless mind clinging to desires, the problem of doubt. And we covered some core guiding principles. Selfless action, detachment, understanding those three gunas, and finally recognizing the divine in everything and everyone.
And if you step back, what really stands out is just how relevant the Gita still feels today. It tackles these absolutely fundamental questions of human existence. Who are we? Why are we here? How should we live? And it offers this practical yet profound framework for navigating life's complexities with, greater insight and purpose.
So as you, our listener, reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider which of these paths or insights really spark something in you. Which one resonates most right now? How might seeing your own inner struggles through that allegorical lens of the battlefield offer a fresh perspective on the challenges you're facing? And perhaps, most profoundly, maybe take some time just to contemplate the nature of that supreme soul within that inner guide the Gita talks about, and the ongoing battle we each navigate in our own lives. What would it mean for you personally to truly start listening to that inner voice?
Thank you for joining us on this journey with Vedira. May the wisdom shared here continue to inspire your path of knowledge, love, and inner strength. If this episode has touched you, we invite you to walk further with us. Explore, reflect, and let timeless truth become your companion. Until next time, stay connected to wisdom, stay connected to Vedira.